The rain was hitting the windows hard that Thursday night. Alex sat at his computer desk working on a logo design for a local restaurant. His small apartment felt cozy with just the desk lamp on and soft music playing in the background. He had been single for 3 months now, after his long relationship ended peacefully. Life was quiet, maybe too quiet. Alex loved his work as a graphic designer. He could work from home, set his own hours, and take on projects he enjoyed. Tonight, though, he was pushing to meet a deadline. The restaurant owner needed the logo by morning, and Alex was still tweaking the colors and fonts. His fingers moved quickly across the keyboard as he adjusted the design. The coffee next to him had gone cold hours ago, but he didn't notice. When he got focused on work, everything else disappeared. That's why he almost jumped when he heard his front door open. Alex froze. Who had keys to his apartment? Then he remembered. He had given a spare key to his best friend, Jake, months ago, just in case. But Jake always called before coming over. Alex turned around in his chair, expecting to see his friend walking in with pizza or wanting to hang out. Instead, he saw Mia. Mia was Jake's younger sister. She was supposed to be traveling around Europe for 6 months, taking photos and finding herself after college. Last Alex heard, she wasn't coming back for another week. But there she was, standing in his doorway with that smile he remembered so well. "Mia?" Alex said, his voice showing his surprise. "What are you doing here? I thought you were still in Italy or somewhere." She didn't answer right away. Instead, she closed the door behind her and leaned against it. There was something different about her. She looked more confident, more sure of herself. Her hair was shorter now and she wore clothes that looked expensive. But it was her eyes that caught Alex's attention. They had a look he had never seen before. "I came back early," she said simply, but her voice had a tone that made Alex's heart beat faster. Mia had always been Jake's little sister to Alex. Sure, she was only 2 years younger than them, but she had always seemed like a kid. When they all hung out together, she would sit quietly and listen to their conversations about work and life. She was sweet and smart, but Alex had never thought of her as anything more than his friend's sister. But standing there in his apartment, she didn't look like a kid anymore. "Jake doesn't know you're back yet, does he?" Alex asked, trying to make normal conversation. Something about the way she was looking at him made him nervous in a way he couldn't explain. "No," Mia said, walking slowly into the room. "He doesn't. I know." Alex watched her move toward him. She walked differently now, with purpose. Her smile never left her face, but it wasn't the innocent smile he remembered from before. This smile had secrets behind it. "I wanted to see you first," she said, stopping right in front of his desk. Alex felt his mouth go dry. The way she said it, the way she was looking at him, made his mind race. For years, there had been small moments between them that he had always pushed away. Times when their eyes would meet across a room and hold for too long. Times when she would laugh at his jokes a little too much. Times when he caught her looking at him when she thought he wasn't paying attention. He had always told himself it was nothing. She was Jake's sister. She was off limits. He was older, more experienced. It wouldn't be right. But now, standing in his apartment at 9 at night, those small moments felt much bigger. "Mia, what's going on?" Alex asked, his voice quieter now. Instead of answering, she reached for the zipper of her jacket. Alex watched, confused, as she pulled it down slowly. Underneath, she wore a simple top that hugged her in ways that made Alex realize she really wasn't a kid anymore. "I've been thinking," she said, dropping the jacket on the floor, "about a lot of things while I was away." Alex's heart was pounding now. He knew he should say something, should stop whatever was happening, but he couldn't find the words. Part of him had always wondered what it would be like if things were different between them. If she wasn't Jake's sister. If the timing had been different. "Mia, we should talk about this," he managed to say, but his voice didn't sound convincing even to himself. She smiled again, that new smile that made his stomach flip. Without saying another word, she pulled her top over her head and let it fall to the floor next to her jacket. Alex couldn't breathe. He couldn't think. All those years of pushing away thoughts about her, all those times he had told himself it would never happen, disappeared in an instant. Before he could react, before he could say anything, Mia stepped forward and sat down, on his lap, right there in his desk chair. She was warm and real and looking into his eyes like she had been waiting for this moment forever. "I've been thinking about this for 3 years," she whispered, so close he could feel her breath on his face. Alex's world stopped. 3 years? Had she felt something all this time too? Had those small moments meant as much to her as they secretly meant to him? His hands trembled as he tried to figure out what to do. Part of him wanted to hold her, to finally give in to feelings he had buried for so long. But another part of him thought about Jake, his best friend who trusted him. What would happen to their friendship? What would happen to their whole group of friends, Mia? He said softly, his hands hovering near her but not quite touching. "Are you sure about this?" She nodded, her eyes never leaving his. In that moment, Alex realized that everything was about to change and there was no going back. Alex gently placed his hands on Mia's shoulders. His heart was racing, but he knew they needed to talk before anything else happened. "Mia, please, let's slow down for a minute." She looked confused, maybe even a little hurt. "Don't you want this?" she asked quietly. "It's not that simple," Alex said, reaching for her shirt and handing it back to her. "Please put this back on. We need to talk properly." Mia took the shirt, and Alex could see disappointment in her eyes. But she put it back on and moved to sit on the couch across from him. Alex grabbed a blanket from the back of his chair and wrapped it around her shoulders. "I'm not rejecting you," Alex said, sitting down next to her but keeping some space between them. "But this is huge, Mia. If we do this, everything changes. Our friendship, your relationship with Jake, everything." Mia pulled the blanket tighter, around herself. "I know that," she said. "I've thought about nothing else for months." "Tell me what you mean about 3 years," Alex said. "When did this start for you?" Mia looked down at her hands. "Remember Jake's graduation party? You were wearing that blue shirt and you were talking to everyone, making people laugh. I was supposed to be helping in the kitchen, but I kept watching you." Alex remembered that night. It was 3 years ago, right before he started dating his ex-girlfriend. "I remember," he said softly. "At the end of the night, when everyone was leaving, you helped me clean up. We were alone in the kitchen and you said something funny. I was laughing, and when I looked up, you were staring at me. Really staring, like you were seeing me for the first time." Alex felt his chest tighten. He did remember that moment. For just a few seconds, he had looked at Mia and felt something different, something he had quickly pushed away. "You almost kissed me that night," Mia continued. "I could feel it. But then Jake walked in asking where the trash bags were, and the moment was gone. You stepped back and looked away, and I knew you were never going to let yourself feel anything for me." "Mia," Alex started, but she held up her hand. "Let me finish," she said. "After that night, I tried to forget about it. I dated other people in college. I tried to convince myself it was just a silly crush. But every time I came home and saw you, those feelings came back stronger." She looked up at him now, her eyes wet with tears. "When I decided to go to Europe, part of it was because I needed to get away from you. I needed to figure out if what I felt was real or if I was just stuck on something that could never happen." "And what did you figure out?" Alex asked. "That I'm in love with you," Mia said simply. "Not a crush, not some fantasy about my brother's friend. Real love. The kind where I think about you every day and wonder what our life could be like together." Alex felt like the air had been knocked out of him. He had expected her to say she had feelings for him, but hearing her say she loved him was something entirely different. "There's something else," Mia said, taking a deep breath. "I called Jake, too. Weeks ago, I told him everything." Alex's eyes went wide. "You what?" "I told him how I felt about you. I told him I was coming home early to tell you. I told him that if you felt the same way, I was going to fight for us." "What did he say?" Alex asked, afraid of the answer. Was quiet for a long time, Mia said. Then he asked me if I was sure this wasn't just some rebound thing after college or some way to rebel against him. I told him no, that I had been feeling this way for years. Alex waited for her to continue. He said he always knew something was there between us. He said he had seen the way we looked at each other sometimes, and he had been waiting for one of us to do something about it. Jake said that? Alex couldn't believe what he was hearing. He said you're one of the best people he knows, and if I had to fall in love with someone, he was glad it was you. But he also said he would kill you if you hurt me. Alex laughed despite everything. That sounded like Jake. So he's okay with this? Alex asked. He gave me his blessing, Mia said. But he also said he wasn't going to get involved. He said if something was going to happen between us, we had to figure it out ourselves. They sat in silence for a few minutes, both processing everything that had been said. I can't believe you told him, Alex said finally. I had to, Mia said. I couldn't come here and do what I did without him knowing. That wouldn't be fair to any of us. Alex looked at Mia, really looked at her. She wasn't the impulsive kid he thought she was. She had planned this, thought it through, and even talked to her brother about it. She had been braver than he had ever been. I have feelings for you too, Alex admitted. I have for a long time, but I was scared of what it would mean. And now? Mia asked. I'm still scared, Alex said honestly. But maybe that's okay. They talked until the sun came up, sharing stories and memories, admitting to moments when they had felt something but hadn't acted on it. By morning, they both knew that whatever happened next, they were going to face it together. When Alex woke up, he could smell coffee brewing in his kitchen. For a moment, he forgot everything that had happened the night before. Then he heard Mia humming softly, and it all came rushing back. She had slept in his guest room. They had agreed to take things slow, to figure out what this meant before rushing into anything physical. It was the right decision, but it had been one of the hardest things Alex had ever done. He found Mia in the kitchen, wearing one of his old college t-shirts over her clothes from the night before. She looked comfortable and natural, like she belonged there. Good morning, she said, smiling at him. It was a different smile than the mysterious one from last night. This one was warm and a little shy. Morning, Alex said, accepting the cup of coffee she handed him. How did you sleep? Better than I have in months, she said. You? I barely slept at all, Alex admitted. Too much to think about. They sat at his small kitchen table, both feeling a little awkward now that it was daylight. Everything felt different in the morning. More real, but also more uncertain. I called in sick to work, Alex said. I don't think I can concentrate on anything today. I should probably go get my stuff from the hotel and figure out where I'm staying, Mia said. I didn't really make plans beyond last night. You could stay here, Alex offered, then quickly added. In the guest room, I mean. Until you figure things out. Mia smiled. Are you sure? Won't that be weird? Everything about this is weird, Alex said, making her laugh, but good weird. Around noon, they heard a key in the front door. Alex and Mia looked at each other with panic in their eyes. Jake walked in carrying a bag of takeout food. Surprise, he called out. I thought I'd welcome my sister home with some of that Chinese food she loves. He stopped short when he saw both of them sitting at the kitchen table, Alex in his pajamas, Mia wearing Alex's shirt. The tension in the room was obvious. Well, Jake said, setting the food down on the counter, I guess you two figured some things out. Jake, Mia started, but he held up his hand. It's okay, he said, but his voice was tight. I mean, I said I was okay with it, but seeing it is different than thinking about it. The three of them stood there in an awkward silence that felt like it lasted forever. This is exactly what I was afraid of, Alex said quietly. No, Jake said firmly. Don't do that. Don't let my weirdness mess this up for you two. He took a deep breath. I need some time to adjust, but I meant what I told Mia. I'd rather have you two together than wondering what if for the rest of your lives. Mia got up and hugged her brother. Thank you, she whispered. Just, Jake said, looking at Alex over Mia's shoulder. Maybe don't do couple stuff in front of me for a while. I need to get used to this gradually. Alex nodded. Of course. And Alex, Jake added with a slight smile. You better treat her, right, or best friend or not, I will make your life miserable. I understand, Alex said, meaning it completely. The rest of the day was strange, but not terrible. Jake stayed for lunch, and slowly, the three of them found their way back to something that felt almost normal. It would take time, but they were going to figure out how to make this work. That evening, after Jake left, Alex and Mia sat on his couch watching a movie. She was curled up against his side, and for the first time in years, Alex felt completely at peace. No regrets? He asked, softly. None, Mia said, looking up at him. You? Alex kissed the top of her head. None at all. 2 weeks had passed since that night, and Alex thought things were going well. Mia had moved into his guest room officially, and they were taking their relationship slow. They held hands, shared meals, and talked about everything. But they hadn't rushed into anything physical beyond gentle kisses goodnight. Jake seemed to be adjusting too. He came over for dinner twice that week and only looked uncomfortable once when he caught Alex and Mia sharing a quiet moment in the kitchen. But Alex should have known it wouldn't be that easy. Friday evening, Alex was working late again when Jake showed up unannounced. This time, he didn't look happy. We need to talk, Jake said, closing the door harder than necessary. Mia was at the grocery store, so they were alone. Alex could tell by Jake's face that this conversation wasn't going to go well. What's wrong? Alex asked, turning away from his computer. Lisa saw you two at the coffee shop yesterday, Jake said. Lisa was Jake's ex-girlfriend, and she still hung out with their group of friends sometimes. Okay, Alex said slowly. And? She said you two looked like you were really together. Not just figuring things out, but actually together. Like holding hands across the table, sharing food, looking at each other like you're already planning your future. Alex felt his stomach drop. Jake, I thought you were okay with this. I thought I was too, Jake said, running his hands through his hair. But Lisa started asking questions. She wanted to know how long this had been going on. She asked if you two had been sneaking around behind my back before Mia went to Europe. You know we weren't, Alex said firmly. I know that, Jake said. But then she said something that got to me. She said it looked like you had been in love with my sister for years, and I had been too stupid to notice. Alex didn't know what to say to that. Were you? Jake asked. Were you in love with her while you were dating Kate? Were you thinking about my sister while you were with someone else? Jake, that's not fair, Alex started. Answer the question, Jake demanded. Alex took a deep breath. He knew this moment would come eventually. Yes, he said quietly. I had feelings for Mia while I was with Kate, but I never acted on them. I never even let myself really think about them until Kate and I broke up. Jake stared at him for a long moment. So you were lying to me for years. I wasn't lying, Alex said. I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to respect your friendship and Mia's relationship with you. By having feelings for my sister and not telling me? What was I supposed to do? Alex asked, getting frustrated now. Come to you and say, hey Jake, I think I'm falling for Mia, but don't worry, I'm not going to do anything about it? How would that have helped anyone? Jake didn't have an answer for that. Look, Alex continued, I get that this is weird for you. I get that it changes things between us, but I can't help how I feel about her, and I'm not going to apologize for it anymore. Maybe this was a mistake, Jake said quietly. What was a mistake? Me telling Mia it was okay. You two being together. All of it. Alex felt like he had been punched in the stomach. You don't mean that. I don't know what I mean anymore, Jake said. I just know that every time I see you two together, I feel like I'm losing both of you. That's when Mia walked in with grocery bags in her hands. She took one look at both of their faces and knew something was wrong. What's going on? She asked, setting the bags down. Jake's having second thoughts about us, Alex said before Jake could speak. Mia looked at her brother with hurt in her eyes. Is that true? Mia, this is harder than I thought it would be, Jake admitted. So what are you saying? Mia asked. That Alex and I should break up because it makes you uncomfortable? Maybe, Jake said, and Alex could see that he immediately regretted saying it. No, Mia said firmly. I'm not doing this again. What do you mean? Alex asked. I spent 3 years hiding how I felt because I was worried about what Jake would think. I spent 6 months in Europe trying to talk myself out of loving you because I didn't want to cause problems. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life putting everyone else's feelings before mine. She turned to Jake. I love you, and you're my brother, and I want you in my life. But I love Alex too, and I'm not giving that up. Mia, Jake started. No, she interrupted. You said you were okay with this. You can't take that back just because your ex-girlfriend made some comments. Jake looked stunned. Alex had never seen Mia stand up to her brother like that before. I need some air, Jake said, and he walked out, leaving Alex and Mia standing in the kitchen. Mia started to cry, and Alex pulled her into his arms. What if I just ruined everything, she whispered. You didn't, Alex said, holding her tight. You were brave. You stood up for us. But inside, Alex was worried. What if Jake couldn't accept their relationship? What if this really was going to tear their whole friend group apart? That night, Mia barely spoke during dinner. Alex could tell she was thinking about her conversation with Jake, wondering if she had made the right choice. Do you regret it? Alex asked as they were getting ready for bed. Standing up to Jake? No, Mia said. But I hate that it's causing so much pain for everyone. Maybe we should take a break, Alex suggested, though the words felt like glass in his throat. Give Jake some time to adjust. Mia looked at him with surprise and hurt. Is that what you want? No, Alex said immediately. But I don't want to be the reason you and Jake stop talking either. That's not your decision to make, Mia said. It's mine, and I choose you. Alex felt his heart break and heal at the same time. She was choosing him, but at what cost? Jake didn't talk to either of them for a whole week. Alex tried calling him twice, but Jake didn't answer. Mia was miserable, and Alex felt guilty for being the cause of the fight between the siblings. On Friday morning, Alex was surprised to find Jake sitting on his front steps when he went to get the mail. Can we talk? Jake asked. Of course, Alex said, sitting down next to him. They sat in silence for a few minutes before Jake spoke. I talked to my dad last night, Jake said. Alex was surprised. Jake's father lived across the country and they didn't talk often. I told him about you and Mia and about how I was struggling with it. You know what he said? Alex shook his head. He said he always knew Mia had feelings for you and he wondered when one of us would figure it out. Really? He said when Mia was home for Christmas 2 years ago, she couldn't stop talking about you, about your work, about things you had. Said about how smart and funny you were. He said it was obvious to everyone except us. Jake looked at Alex. He also said I was being selfish. Jake, you're not selfish for having feelings about this. Yes, I am, Jake said. I've been so worried about how this affects me that I haven't thought about what makes you and Mia happy. Alex didn't know what to say. The truth is, Jake continued, I've been scared that you two being together means I lose both of you, that you'll become this couple and I'll be the third wheel who gets left out. That's not going to happen, Alex said. How do you know? Because you're my best friend, and you're her brother. We both need you in our lives. Jake was quiet for a moment. Lisa said something else that day. She said I should be happy that my sister fell in love with someone I trust. She said most brothers would be worried about their sister dating someone they didn't know or didn't like. Lisa said that? Yeah. She said I was lucky that my sister chose my best friend instead of some stranger who might not treat her well. Alex felt a weight lifting off his chest. I owe you both an apology, Jake said. Especially Mia. She was right to stand up for your relationship. I'm proud of her for that. She's been miserable this week, Alex told him. I know. I've been miserable too. That evening, Jake came over for dinner. Mia was nervous at first, but Jake hugged her as soon as he walked in. "I'm sorry," he told her. "I was being a bad brother." "You weren't being bad," Mia said. "This is weird for everyone." "Maybe," Jake said, "but that doesn't mean I should have asked you to give up your happiness for my comfort." Over dinner, they talked about how things would work going forward. Jake admitted that he might need time to get used to seeing them as a couple, but he promised to try. Alex and Mia promised to be patient with him and not to shut him out. "There is one rule, though," Jake said as they were clearing the dishes. "What's that?" Alex asked, worried. "No kissing in front of me for at least another month." "I'm still working up to that." Mia laughed. "Deal." 6 months later, Alex was working at his desk again when Mia came home from her new job at a local magazine. She had decided to stay in town permanently, and Alex couldn't be happier about it. She walked over to his chair and sat on his lap, just like she had that first night. But this time, it felt completely natural and right. "How was your day?" she asked, wrapping her arms around his neck. "Better now that you're here," Alex said, kissing her softly. "Jake's coming over for dinner tonight," Mia said. "He's bringing someone." "Someone?" Alex asked with interest. "A girl he's been seeing? He wants us to meet her." Alex smiled. Jake had been dating someone for a few months now, and it seemed serious. "Think he's nervous about introducing her?" "To us?" Alex asked. "Probably," Mia said. "But I think he's happy. Really happy." That evening, Jake arrived with his girlfriend Amy. She was sweet and funny, and Alex could see why Jake liked her. Over dinner, Amy told them stories about her job as a teacher, and Jake looked at her the way Alex looked at Mia. After they left, Alex and Mia cleaned up the kitchen together. "I think Jake's in love," Mia said. "I think so too," Alex agreed. "It's nice to see him happy." "It's nice to see all of us happy," Mia said. Later, as they were getting ready for bed, Alex thought about how much had changed since that rainy Thursday night when Mia had walked into his apartment and changed everything. "Do you ever think about how different things would be if you hadn't come here that night?" Alex asked. "No," Mia said simply. "Because I can't imagine my life any other way now." Alex pulled her close. "I love you," he said. "I love you too," she replied. And for the first time in his life, Alex felt like everything was exactly where it was supposed to be.